5 years into my marriage with Jack, I was kidnapped. Along with me was his first love. The kidnappers demanded he choose one. Looking at the sharks circling below, he chose his first love without hesitation. In Jack's tearing gaze, I jumped without hesitation. On our 5th wedding anniversary, I was stood up. Jack always hated any kind of romantic celebrations. We had a cold war for a long time recently, and the relationship just started to thaw. So this time, he finally agreed to spend an anniversary with me. I waited at Jack's favorite seaside restaurant until they closed. He still didn't show up. Not even a call. I smiled wryly and left under the sympathetic gaze of the waiter. The seaside was desolate in the early morning. I wandered aimlessly, the waves calming my restless heart. The ring of my phone pierced the night. The number I had called dozens of times finally responded. Anna is not feeling well. I can't leave the hospital. I'm not coming back tonight. Jack's voice was tinged with fatigue. I was silent for a few seconds, my throat tightening. Do you remember what day it is today? Jack interrupted impatiently. No day is more important than Anna's health, Emma. Why are you so selfish? He paused, his tone mocking. It's just a meal. So, our wedding anniversary was just an insignificant meal to him. Not even a word of concern. My eyes reddened as I took a deep breath. Jack, you're my husband. From the other end came the doctor's call. Is Anna's family here? Jack replied and quickly hung up. Listening to the busy tone, I thought blankly. A younger uncle and sister-in-law could barely count as family. I decided to let Jack go. And also myself. After receiving Anna's message. In the photo, Jack was gently peeling an apple. Emma, it's my fault. I shouldn't have skipped lunch and passed out due to low blood sugar. You know how stubborn Jack is. He insisted on me getting checked at the hospital. Once I'm discharged, I'll drag him over to apologize. The message reminded me that my husband was spending our anniversary with another woman. Anna's taunts had happened many times. She worked with Jack, often posting moments with him on Twitter. Their photos together. I had argued with Jack countless times over this. And what did he say? It's just a photo. There's nothing between Anna and me. It's your dirty mind. This time, I couldn't deceive myself anymore. Jack genuinely didn't like me. I decided to ask Jack for a divorce. On the way to the parking lot, memories kept flooding back. At 18, I saw a pendant around Jack's neck. On it was the token I gave to my savior. From that day, I started following Jack. He liked girls in white dresses with long black hair. Without hesitation, I ditched my pants and dyed my hair back to black. He enjoyed cafeteria breakfasts. I would cross half the campus to deliver it to him on time. The whole school knew Emma was crazy about Jack. Yet, Jack was always indifferent. He neither accepted nor rejected my advances. I thought grown-up Jack was just like that by nature after all. There was no one else around him. My love still had a chance. But I didn't know he had secretly loved a girl for a long time. That girl was Anna. Anna was the daughter of their housemaid. She grew up with Jack and his brother Alex. Even though she was just the maid's daughter, they let her attend the same prestigious school. But Anna wasn't content. By the time the family realized it, Alex was hell-bent on marrying her. The night Alex and Anna got married, Jack got drunk. I took him home and took care of him. That night, Jack held me tightly, asking me not to leave. I thought my efforts were finally being rewarded. But by the 3rd year of our marriage, Alex died. He and Anna were arguing in the car, and it went out of control and hit a truck. He died on the spot. Not long after the wedding, Alex had started cheating frequently. Anna, once envied by everyone, became a pitiful woman who couldn't keep her husband. Before the car accident, they were fighting over a young model Alex had been seeing suddenly losing the air. The family was devastated and put all their blame on Anna. Not only did they kick her out, but they also stopped paying for her hospital bills. Even though Anna and I had a distant relationship, I couldn't help but feel sympathy as a fellow woman. But when I got to the hospital, the first thing I saw was Jack holding Anna tenderly. "Jack, you're all I have left." Anna sobbed pitifully in his arms. Jack gently stroked her head, speaking in a softness I had never heard. "Don't be afraid. I'm here. I will protect you like I always have. What if Emma has opinions about how you treat me? Don't worry about her. You know, I like you." Jack's words were like a dagger to my heart. I couldn't catch my breath. I suddenly recalled every time Anna had arguments and left home. Jack would drop everything immediately to be with her. I always thought Alex couldn't put aside his pride and ask Jack for help. I was too naive. My face turned pale as I saw Anna lifting her head, giving me a contemptuous and triumphant smile. I staggered out of the hospital. So, from start to end, it was all my wishful thinking. Yet, the one who made those promises, it was him too. I sat at home all night. Jack didn't come home till the next morning. The thought of him holding Anna made my heart throb in pain. Yet, facing him, I didn't even have the courage to question. I can't believe it. The boy who risked his life to save me once. The one who said he'd always like me. He's changed. I held everything in and hoarsely asked him, "Jack, will you divorce me?" Jack paused while changing his shoes. After a long time, I finally heard his answer. No. After that, Jack transferred Anna to a private hospital he controlled. I don't know how he convinced his mother, but he got Anna back into their family. In the end, to secure Anna's position, Jack gave her a cushy job at his company, overcoming all obstacles. The two started going everywhere together. The reason given to me and others was that he was taking care of Anna for Alex. Alex is a great brother. So no one suspected Jack. If it weren't for what I overheard at the hospital, I'd think the man I loved was truly this kind-hearted. But a voice deep inside kept reminding me. Jack's kindness to Anna wasn't repayment to his brother. It was lingering feelings for his first love. The parking lot was dimly lit. Lost in memories, I didn't notice a man tailing me. As I opened the car door, a pair of big hands covered my nose and mouth. After a few seconds of struggle, I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was tied up on a fishing boat. Another person tied up on the boat was Anna. Listening to the familiar sound of the waves, my initially panicked heart gradually calmed down. The kidnapper only grabbed me and Anna. This person probably had a grudge against Jack. I guessed right. Not long after, a yacht approached the fishing boat. Standing at the bow was my husband, whom I hadn't seen for a night. "The money you asked for is all here. Now, let them go," Jack said. Jack fixed his eyes on the kidnapper while motioning for his men to open the case and inspect the money. The kidnapper sneered grimly, wielding a knife against me and the just-awake Anna. "Choose one. Only one. I've heard one is your wife, and the other is your lover. You ruined me, so now you'll taste the pain. The one you don't pick gets fed to the sharks," the kidnapper said, a crazed look in his eyes. Before Jack arrived, the kidnapper had thrown fresh meat into the sea. By now, sharks were circling around the boat. Upon hearing this, Anna beside me nearly fainted. She shivered and cried, pleading with Jack. "Jack, save me. I don't want to die." I didn't cry or make a scene. I just looked at Jack with hopeful eyes. Jack's face turned ashen, and he stared at the kidnapper, breathing hard. It felt like a long time, but it was only a few seconds. Jack avoided my gaze and pointed at Anna. "I choose her once again." Jack chose her over me. One night, 2 weeks ago, Jack had a sudden dinner meeting. A client's wife needed company. I dropped everything, rushed to get my hair done, and picked out an outfit. But just before reaching the restaurant, Jack's secretary called and stopped me. The secretary hesitated for a long time. I thought Jack didn't want me to come and felt let down. But by midnight, it was Anna who brought Jack back. The secretary and Anna each supported him on one side. Jack's head rested on Anna's neck, murmuring her name. Those hands that embraced me countless times now held Anna's slim waist tightly. No matter how I tried to pry them apart, I couldn't. I stared at those hands, my mind blank. My nails dug deep into my skin, snapping me back to reality. Noticing my look, Anna nonchalantly said, "Jack just mistook me for you because he's drunk." Before leaving, Anna specially instructed me, "Jack blocked a lot of drinks for me at the party tonight, make him some hangover soup." So, the dinner meeting Jack didn't want me to attend was accompanied by Anna. At that moment, my heart felt like it was stung by a bee. From a slight itch to unbearable pain. And then, I could feel it. My remaining love for Jack was fading away. "Jack," I called softly, "did you ever love me?" His face was torn with struggle and pain. "I'm sorry, Emma. I will save." So, it really was all one-sided on my part. I laughed hysterically through the tears. While the kidnapper wasn't paying attention. I jumped into the sea without hesitation, in the midst of Jack's terrified, shredded scream. "Don't. Emma." But what did that have to do with me? I closed my eyes. The deep, dark sea. A gorgeous silver fishtail suddenly appeared before me. My consciousness faded. I faintly heard a teasing voice, "A mermaid, huh?" When I woke up again, I found myself lying in a huge fish tank. My heart tightened. Was I captured? I'm a descendant of mermaids. Since I was young, I was taught to hide my tail. If discovered, I'd face torture and death. So, I never told anyone. Not even Jack. I once hesitated whether to tell him. After all, he saved me. He might have seen my tail. But every time, I swallowed the words back. Seems Jack didn't know my secret. Fortunately, he didn't know. It saved my life. After diving into the sea, I lured the sharks deep into the ocean. The blood floating on the surface was from the sharks. But outnumbered and exhausted, I also got severely injured and passed out after dealing with the last shark. I slapped my tail hard against the fish tank wall, trying to get someone's attention. Soon, someone came. A man with strikingly handsome features and a casually arrogant broken eyebrow. He raised his thick, dark brows. "Awake now?" I immediately grew alert. However, the voice sounded calm. "Since you know who I am, then you should be aware. Emma is already dead." The man was taken aback for a moment and then smiled. "So Miss Emma, are you willing to make a deal with me?" A year had passed. Looking at the familiar yet strange street scenes, I felt a bit dazed. "What's wrong, Emma? Forgot the way?" Andrew hooked his arm around my shoulders and teased. "How about you name a price, and I'll reluctantly become your tour guide and driver for a while." I declined politely, "No need. I injured my body, not my brain, when I jumped into the sea." He burst into laughter again. "Emma, I told you, you always hit my funny bone. The man who saved me a year ago was Andrew. His personality really doesn't match his name. Wild and rebellious. That's what suits him best. Andrew said Jack stole his treasure. So he wants revenge on Jack. And he just happened to save me by accident. A perfect bait to deal with Jack." He said this casually, making it hard to believe, yet I had to. Andrew not only saved me but also tried everything he could to help me recover my legs. After jumping into the sea, I was severely injured, leading to some physical issues. I couldn't switch freely between my tail and legs. If I weren't valuable to him, he would have sent me to a research institute long ago. Even if it wasn't Andrew, I was planning revenge. From the moment I fell into the sea, my love for Jack had vanished. All I could think about was revenge. Why should I be abandoned? I want those scumbags to pay. Thinking about the past, I couldn't help but feel colder. A big hand suddenly pinched my cheek. "Don't frown today. Come on, I'll treat you to a feast." Frowning with resignation, I let Andrew drag me along. It wasn't until we reached the restaurant that I understood what Andrew meant by a feast. At the window table sat Jack and Anna. I didn't expect to see them so soon. Jack was expressionless, as calmly handsome as always. Running his family had added an authoritative aura to him. Clearly, he was doing better than before after I died. Annoying. Andrew quietly cursed beside me. You were right. I stared intently at Jack. Seemingly feeling my gaze, he slowly raised his head. It seems it's time to give this scum what he deserves. Hooking my arm around Andrew's, I grinned slightly at the shocked Jack. Jack's face changed from shock and pain to joy, finally settling into confusion. He abruptly stood up, stumbled, and quickly ran towards me. Then he held me tightly, like precious treasure regained. Emma, is it really you? Is it really you? Jack's reaction was completely unexpected to me. Even more so was Andrew. He pulled Jack's hand off me and fiercely punched him. That punch made Jack bleed from the corner of his mouth and fall to the ground. Yet he didn't care, staring straight at me, crying and laughing, calling out my name. Anna, with a pale face, desperately called Jack's name. Jack, I'm scared. Don't do this. But she got no response. I gazed at the pale Anna not far away. My lips curved into a meaningful smile. Jack. Just one call made him stop. I went home with Jack. Before leaving the restaurant, I subtly hooked my pinky with Andrew, signaling him to wait for my call later. His gloomy face finally looked a bit better. Back home, as expected, chaos ensued. Everyone was hostile towards me, a supposedly dead person. Jack's mother was particularly fierce. If it wasn't for this woman running around and getting caught by kidnappers, you wouldn't have gotten stabbed going to save her. She wants to come back. Dream on. Jack's mother never liked me since we got married. But she hated Anna even more. Surprisingly, within a year, Anna had won her favor. Standing by Jack's mother's side, Anna joined forces with her, pointing directly at me. Emma, if you were really saved, why did it take a year to come back? Are you sure you don't have ulterior motives coming back? I ignored Anna and tilted my head to ask Jack, did you bring me home just to show me how I used to be bullied? One sentence made Jack's face cold. If anyone is rude to Emma, don't blame me for being rude too. With the crowd's ugly faces, I held Jack's hand and stepped into the room. Just as the door closed, Jack pressed me against it from behind. He tightly pinned me down, his warm breath on my neck. Emma, I really missed you. His voice was hoarse, whispering his regret and love over the past year. I was silent for a long time and choked up, asking Jack, did you ever love me? It was like flipping a switch. A warm tear fell onto my skin. Emma, I love you. Only after losing you did I realize I love you. Please don't leave me again. After a while, I heard myself gently respond. The gentleness never reached my eyes though. Jack went to shower. I dialed that familiar number. He answered instantly. So, that scumbag didn't cling to you? Andrew's voice was filled with disgust for Jack. I found it amusing and asked, what exactly did Jack take from you? I'll help you find it as soon as possible. There's no rush for that. You do what you need to do first, before the shower stops running. Andrew said to me, Emma, I'm kind of regretting letting you go back to Jack. Andrew's feelings for me had only recently become evident. But I didn't have the time to care. Some people were destined to be sleepless tonight. I, however, slept well. After Jack went to the office, Jack's mother and Anna couldn't sit still. With Anna spreading rumors, Jack's mother quickly found out that I was saved by a man. Who knows what happened in the year I was away, saved by a man. Jack's mother couldn't help making snide remarks. Mom, Emma's not like that, Anna pretended to defend me. But quickly added, but that day at the restaurant, Emma did seem quite close to that man. Jack's mother immediately exclaimed, I knew she was hooking up with some random guy outside. Anna feigned shock and covered her mouth. Emma, don't take it to heart. I just blurted it out. Mom didn't mean anything by it. She was just worried you might get deceived. I looked up and smiled gently. It's fine. I just quickly sent what you said to Jack. I raised my phone. I'm not mad. Whether Jack will be mad, I don't know. Their faces changed dramatically. What man could tolerate slander about his wife? Jack quickly rushed back from the office. He pulled me away without a word, face grim. He ignored Jack's mother's crying threats. As we walked out, Anna chased us. Her eyes were red, about to cry as she apologized to Jack. Jack, you know I can't ignore what Mom says. Talking about Emma like that wasn't my intention. After all, she was the first love. Jack sighed slightly. It's tough dealing with my mom, sorry. Anna shot me a triumphant look. Just like when she used to snatch Jack away from me. Before the car started, I leaned close to Anna under the pretense of fixing my hair. Come and take him then. Let's see who wins. Jack arranged for me to work at the company, staying close by. In the break room, you could always hear gossip. I listened with interest while holding my coffee. That new secretary? They say she's Jack's wife who fell into the ocean. Surviving such an incident? Someone saved her, they say so. What about Anna? Isn't she a match with Jack, a cold CEO and gentle director? This woman doesn't deserve Jack. They're a perfect match. One lost his wife, the other her husband. They're the perfect pair. If I had come back any later, I might have made it just in time for Jack and Anna's wedding. After the young people left, I finally walked out, not expecting that I wasn't the only one eavesdropping. Anna was staring hatefully at me from a distance, whispered, "Why did you have to come back? Jack was about to agree to marry me. Why can't you leave him alone, leave us alone?" I found it funny and laughed. I'm Jack's legal wife. You're nothing. But Jack doesn't like you at all. Anna looked at me with pity. You heard it that time in the hospital, right? Well then, let's see who Jack truly likes. I suddenly poured my coffee over Anna's head. Before Jack entered, I pinched myself hard to force out a few tears. I quickly complained, "Jack, I swear I didn't fool around outside." I lifted my sleeve, showing faint scars. I didn't come back sooner because I was badly hurt. I came to you as soon as I recovered. With red eyes, on the verge of tears, Anna stormed, "Jack, I didn't slander her." Emma poured coffee on me first. Enough. It was the first time I saw Jack lose his temper at Anna. Turns out, a man's first love could also change. Anna, in disbelief, reached out to grab Jack. "Jack, listen to me." Jack avoided her hand, gently covering my scar. He looked at Anna with disappointment. "Emma never said you slandered her." "Anna, when did you become such a liar?" Holding my hand, he walked past Anna, leaving a final word, "Don't come to the office for a while." I turned back and gave her a triumphant smile, just as Anna had done to me before. That night, Anna cornered me in the kitchen. She glared at me, voice low and harsh. "Emma, don't get complacent. Jack just feels a bit guilty for you. You really think he likes you? He's always loved me." I chuckled lightly and casually replied, "Really? Then why didn't he marry you?" I paused, looking her up and down. "Is it that you're not charming enough, or maybe Jack doesn't love you that much?" Anna gritted her teeth and stormed off, leaving a, "You'll see." When I fell into the ocean, Jack went crazy, insisting on finding my body. He stirred things up for half a year before it went quiet. Everyone talked about it. Andrew even teased me. "You say Jack only pretended to be deeply in love once someone died, and he gets called a perfect man. Worth it, huh?" Now that Jack was offering his sincere heart to me, I found it revolting. Anna's position was put on hold. With me in the company, she had no reason to see Jack. She could only find ways to get at me at home. I didn't know how she convinced Jack's parents to back her. At meals, they deliberately arranged for Anna to sit next to Jack. As for me, the legitimate wife, I was placed next to Jack's mother, the reason being she wanted to get closer to me. Jack was naturally pleased his mother accepted me. Every time I tried to call Jack, Jack's mother immediately diverted the topic. Anna was laughing and chatting with Jack. I watched them with a smile and raised my voice to interrupt. Jack, even though you're having a good time with sis-in-law, you should still eat properly with that stomach ache. Jack gave me a gentle look and placed some food on my plate. You're always looking out for me, honey. I'll be good to you forever. That made all three of us uncomfortable. Jack's parents often found reasons to pull Jack away and set up alone time for Anna and him. Jack wasn't oblivious. I've always known. Compared to Anna, Jack's parents despised me more for coming back to life. They pinned their hopes on Anna to win Jack back and drive me away. But their plan failed. When Jack loves someone truly, he doesn't see anyone else. He was like that with Anna before now, he's like that with me. Things that come easily are never cherished by men. But what's lost and regained becomes a treasure. I smiled and studied his face lovingly. At the same time, I observed Anna. Her face was stiff, and her hand on the table clenched into a fist. It's time to add fuel to the fire. I took a phone call in the garden to avoid everyone from Jack's family. Jack is crazy about me now, I boasted to the caller. Anna may have been his first love, but soon I'll chase her out of the house. I'm the lady of Jack's house. The person on the other end said something, and I sighed regretfully. If I hadn't hurt myself jumping into the sea, I'd already be pregnant with Jack's first grandson. Jack promised me that if I had his child, he'd do whatever I say. Footsteps receded behind me. I turned slightly to make sure Anna had left, and then I relaxed. The caller chuckled. She's gone. Andrew's voice was familiar with the sound of waves in the background. Emma, you sure put on a show. I toyed with a sea holly flower, replying lazily. Just giving her a taste of her own medicine. Anna's a pro at acting in front of Jack. I used to disdain those tricks. Now they're my weapons. On Saturday morning, I deliberately brought up the party 3 days later at breakfast with Jack. Anna habitually asked Jack about the location. Coincidentally, I need to go pick out my dress today. She smiled sweetly at Jack. I feigned surprise. Jack didn't tell you? Only I will accompany him to the party that day. You've worked hard being Jack's companion. Now, as his lawful wife, I'll take over. I emphasized lawful and turned to Jack for confirmation. Jack nodded in agreement. Anna, stay home with Mom and Dad. That scene's not for you. Anna's face twisted in anger. I gently said, would you like to go dress shopping with me? It's been a year since I've been back. I might not pick the right outfit. Jack's eyes reflected pity as he gently held my hand. Our Lady can make anything work. Suppressing my disgust, I gazed lovingly at his face despite my insistence. Anna reluctantly joined me on the outing. Seeing you unhappy makes me happy, I told Anna. She had to follow me, humiliated. If I wanted, her idle position would be more than just on hold. Anna sat on a couch, fuming. My phone rang while the shop assistants were organizing dresses. I didn't think and ordered, hand me my phone. Emma, don't push it. She glared at me. Feigning innocence, I said, it's just a small favor. The shop assistants watched her curiously. Anna reluctantly grabbed my bag. The rummaging stopped suddenly. I turned and saw her staring at a medical report in my bag. I said to get the phone, what are you digging for? I rushed to snatch the bag, startling Anna. She adjusted her hair, uncomfortable. Your bag's too big, I couldn't find it. The rest of the time, she seemed preoccupied. No matter how I provoked her, her mind was elsewhere. I knew the fish had taken the bait. Time flew, and 3 days passed. I appeared at the party arm in arm with Jack, looking stunning. Many came to schmooze and toast. I entertained every one of them. But the drinks ended up in Jack's stomach. In a secluded corner, I saw Andrew and subtly signaled him. He looked impatient but still complied. With Andrew's help, Anna's plan would surely succeed. I downed my drink. Jack shielded me from many drinks, yet he was more clear-headed than me. After rubbing my aching forehead, I left early. Before leaving, I told Jack's secretary to inform him I booked a hotel room downstairs to rest. But the next day, even after I returned home, I didn't see Jack. After several calls, Jack finally answered, his voice hoarse. "I drank too much last night. Didn't want to disturb you, so got my own room. Don't worry, I'll be home soon." His explanation made sense. I believed him. I gently reminded him to take care, then sent a text. Did the plan work? I felt relieved and waited for another half-month. Anna finally made her move and asked to meet. The moment I sat down, she tossed a pregnancy test report at me. "What does this mean?" "I'm pregnant." "Jack's child," Anna gloated. "You should divorce Jack willingly. I'll make sure he compensates you well." I laughed angrily. "Anna, you don't need a pregnancy checkup, you need a brain checkup." That night at the party, Anna interrupted me. "Jack wasn't with you, was he?" She handed me a photo, showing her and a sleeping Jack. "He was with me all night. The baby was conceived that night. I saw your medical report. You can't have children. You can't let their family line end." My hand holding the photo started shaking and my face turned pale. Anna leaned in, very pleased with herself. "Jack was drunk that night, but he was sober afterwards. What man wouldn't want a child?" Anna left. I put away my sorrow on my face and kept the pregnancy report and photo she left behind. After sitting for a while longer in a daze, I went to find Jack. When the anxious man came rushing over, I raised my hand and slapped him hard. Finally, I said the words I had been holding back for so long. Jack's face turned pale, and he reached out to hug me. "Emma, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. You can hit me, scold me, just don't leave me." I coldly pushed him away. "No way, let's get a divorce." Jack wouldn't let go, explaining painfully. "Emma, our family needs a child. Is it because I can't have one? So you find another woman to do it?" I asked him furiously. "Yes, I got hurt when I jumped into the sea, but the doctor said that as long as I take good care of myself for a year or two, having children won't be a problem." Jack looked utterly shocked. "But Anna said." My eyes reddened and I held back my tears. "So, you still choose to believe Anna over me?" I threw my real medical report at him and walked away without looking back. My phone vibrated non-stop. One message of remorse from Jack after another. I ignored them. When he finally seemed to have given up, I replied with one message. "I can't possibly raise another woman's child." The next day, Anna stopped me in the underground garage. Her face was bare, filled with gloom. "What did you say to Jack? Why is he forcing me to get rid of the baby?" I glanced at her indifferently. "Of course, it's because I can have children now. The doctor said there was a mistake with my medical report. Jack said only the child I have would be acknowledged by his family. As long as I don't let their family line end." I leaned close to her ear with a harsh tone. "What's that lump of flesh in your belly worth?" As my car drove away, I saw the despondent look on the woman standing there through the rearview mirror and smiled. "Anna, don't let me down." The day I moved out, Jack and his father had a huge argument over Anna's child. His father demanded Jack divorce me and marry Anna, giving her and the child a proper status. However, Jack disagreed, insisting that Anna get rid of the baby. His father was furious and brought Anna to yell at me. They happened to run into Jack at my place, who had been coming to my rented apartment every day begging for forgiveness since I moved out. Although I hadn't given him a friendly face, my attitude had gradually softened a bit, giving him hope of reconciliation, so he came more frequently. This time, he witnessed his mother and Anna hurling abusive words at me. Jack was furious. In the tussle, Anna was pushed to the ground, clutching her belly in pain. His mother was frightened, urging Jack to call an ambulance. "Losing this kid might be better, it's just a bastard." Jack watched coldly, his words breaking Anna's heart halfway. Then he gazed at me with deep affection. "My child can only come from Emma." Suppressing my revulsion, I called an ambulance quickly, knowing that the lump of flesh in Anna's belly must not have any problems. Before the ambulance left, I saw the hatred in Anna's eyes. When everything was over, I sent a message to Andrew. Start the next plan. Anna's baby was saved, but Jack made her life miserable, demanding she abort the baby finally. Anna was ruthless enough to contact the drug dealer Andrew arranged for her. When a woman's hatred explodes, nothing can stop it. The day I went back to retrieve some things I left behind, Anna was there, sipping a bowl of bird's nest soup slowly. I ignored her and headed to the door, but Anna called out to me. Emma, your dreams of coming back should wake up. I frowned at her. What do you mean? The only child of his will come from me, she laughed arrogantly. Jack can't have kids anymore. What are you talking about? How could Jack be infertile? There was a soft sound at the door, and I continued to coax Anna without showing any reaction. He will never have any other children besides the one in my belly. Anna's eyes were full of craziness, because I saw him drink the sterilization medicine I prepared for him. A figure rushed out and slapped Anna heavily. You vicious woman. Jack's eyes were blazing, as if ready to tear Anna apart. His parents rushed to hold Jack back, otherwise, their family would truly end. Anna covered her swollen face, her laugh slightly crazed. You made me do this. Only the child in my belly is the sole future heir of your family. After enjoying the show, I couldn't resist clapping. The Brown family's gaze shifted to me as I leisurely threw out a single statement. How can you be sure that the child in your belly is his? This bombshell left everyone with varied expressions. I smiled slightly and revealed the truth. The night of the party, Anna put something exciting in Jack's drink. She thought victory was in her grasp. What she didn't know was a waiter, bought off by Andrew, had swapped her and Jack's glasses. The drink that Anna spiked ended up in her own stomach. The woman in the room with Jack that drunken night wasn't Anna. It was a woman Andrew and I found, who looked just like Anna. The lights were dim, and Jack was so drunk he couldn't tell Anna got the same treatment as Jack. So the baby in her belly isn't Jack's. But Anna gave Jack a sterilization drug. Jack would never have kids again. Jack's mom fainted after hearing everything. Anna slumped to the ground, her face blank. Jack stared at me, full of pain. Emma, do you hate me that much? I looked at him coldly, not wanting to say a single word. Jack's fainted mom was woken up. She rushed at Anna, slapping and cursing wildly. Jack had to stop her to keep things from getting worse. Servants pinned Anna down, dragging her away like a dead dog. As she passed by me, she fixed her poison-filled eyes on me. Emma, I won't let you off. Jack didn't come looking for me after that day. I guessed he was busy with his fertility treatment. And I wasn't idle either. During my time at the company, Andrew and I gathered a lot of evidence against Jack. But I never expected Anna to make trouble again. I woke up with a splitting pain in my head and found my hands and feet tied. It was the man wrapped up in the elevator who did it. Looking around, I recognized the familiar sea. But this time, only I was tied up. It was Anna's doing. A year ago, she staged that kidnapping herself. It was to test her position in Jack's heart and to get rid of me. The kidnappers escaped with Anna's help. She didn't expect me to wake up so soon this time. Anna talked to the kidnappers openly. After a few words, they started arguing. The kidnapper had been extorting money from her ever since he got her on a leash. He got addicted to gambling and wanted more and more money. He helped Anna this time because he lost $50 million in gambling. The casino people were looking for him to sell him abroad for money. Anna, kicked out of her home and struggling herself, had no money to give him. They argued fiercely until the sound of speedboats approaching stopped them. One boat was Jack's, the other was Andrew's. Jack came because Anna called him. Andrew came because of the tracker he put in my phone. Seeing I was safe, Jack started negotiating with Anna. His gaze at Anna was full of disgust and hatred, which provoked her. Anna kicked me, her eyes dark and sinister. Both your old and new flames are here to save you. Feeling proud? Too bad it won't last long. She stood up and yelled across, I changed my mind. You want to save Emma, you have to trade yourselves. Jack hesitated briefly. Andrew didn't hesitate at all. Raising his hands, he stepped onto the boat to be tied up. Don't be scared, he mouthed to me. Those words warmed my heart, dispersing the shadow of a year ago. As he got closer, Andrew signaled to me. When he kicked at Anna, I rolled to the side. While Andrew fought the kidnapper, Jack rushed over to untie me. But then, chaos hit. The boat caught fire. The heavy smell of gasoline wafted through the sea breeze. My face turned pale. I pushed Jack away and ran towards Andrew. Andrew, jump. A huge explosion sounded. I shifted my tail, dragging Andrew back to shore. I couldn't worry about the others. Andrew took most of the blast from me, getting badly hurt. Luckily, he recovered quickly. Within a month, he was back to his lively self. Taking care of Andrew, I ignored the outside world. Only when he was discharged did I realize the world had turned upside down. Jack and Anna were farther from the explosion, suffering less damage. They both survived. But Anna was disfigured, and Jack lost a leg and his sight. Blindness made Jack pour all his hatred onto Anna. He put Anna in the best hospital for quick treatment but refused to let her get her looks back. On the day she was discharged, Jack personally sent her to jail. He vowed to keep her there for life. Anna cried and begged Jack to spare her, but he ignored her. Anna snapped, stabbing Jack in the chest with a hidden fruit knife. It was a deep wound. Even desperate surgery couldn't keep Jack from becoming a vegetable. Anna was sentenced to a lifetime in prison. Hearing all this, I stayed calm. This was their deserved karma. But Andrew kept throwing worried glances at me. Warmth filled my heart. I smiled and called him, Andrew. Then I held up the pendant, the one from Jack's neck. It had a fish scale in the center, my scale. Do you know why I liked Jack at first? It was because of this scale. He saved me when we were kids, and I gave him this as a token. Andrew's face changed, cursing under his breath. Confused, I watched as he suddenly came closer, cupping my face. Weren't you asking what Jack stole from me? This fish scale is what he took. I stared into those serious eyes, my mind went completely blank. Are you saying, the person who saved me back then, was you? I struggled to digest the news. Andrew nodded and sighed. If I'd known this was why you liked him, I would have told you when we met again. I always thought Andrew saved me for some ulterior motive. Turns out, he recognized me at first sight. When he saved me as a kid, we didn't even have time to exchange names due to various reasons. The second time he saved me, I had forgotten him and fell in love with someone else. So he was hesitant to reveal himself to me. He just made up an excuse to help me. So how did the fish scale I gave you get taken by Jack? We went to the same school for a semester. I accidentally lost the scale back then. I looked for it for a long time and couldn't find it. Later, I found out he had picked it up. I never got the chance to ask him to give it back. We fell silent for a moment, both of us unsure whether to laugh or cry. Andrew extended his hand. Let's meet again. I'm Andrew. I took his hand. I'm Emma. His eyes softened as he smiled. I found you, my little mermaid.